Alright, this is homework 6. And we're looking at problem number 3. In this problem, you're multiplying a negative 3 by the binomial 2 plus I raised to the second power. Okay, let's start with this exponent. When we're evaluating expressions, when we're simplifying them, we need to follow the order of operations. And parentheses come first, but I can't add to an I because they are not like terms. So the next option is to raise this amount to the second power. And not the negative 3, just the binomial 2 plus I is getting raised to the second power. So I'm going to rewrite it as times itself. That's what raised to the second power means, 2 of those multiplied. Now, I'm going to need to multiply these two first before I multiply by the negative 3. I could go negative 3 times 2 plus negative 3 times I and multiply the negative 3 into this binomial first, but I think it's going to be easier to take care of these two first. Order of multiplying doesn't matter. So I'm going to get a bigger pair of parentheses ready with the negative 3 out front. Don't lose that negative 3. And when I'm multiplying 2 plus I times 2 plus I, I'm going to use the FOIL method. Firsts times firsts, outers times outers, inners times themselves, and lasts times themselves. You've done this before with variable binomials. It's no different here. Well, it's a little bit different, but not a lot. 2 times 2 makes 4. Now the 2 wants to get multiplied by this I. And 2 times a positive I will be plus 2I. And so now the 2 is done being multiplied by these two terms. Now let's go to the I. We're going to do the I times 2. That's another 2I, and it's positive. And then finally, I times I. I times itself, we're going to write as I squared. Alright, now we have some simplifying to do inside the parentheses. I still have this negative 3 out front, the 4 plus 2I and 2I can be added together. There's a plus sign between them. 2 I's plus 2 more I's is 4 I's. That sounds kind of funny. And then we've got the plus I squared. Now, I squared is a number. And if you'll think back to a previous lecture video, you learned that I squared is equal to negative 1. Commit that to memory. I squared is negative 1. It's that imaginary number I that mathematicians invented so they could eventually take the square root of negative numbers. So if I squared is negative 1, then I have plus negative 1 here in place of I squared. Now looking inside my parentheses again, I've got two plain numbers I can combine. I've got 4 plus a negative 1. 4 plus a negative 1. And that's just 3. And now I've got to rewrite the plus 4I. So these two I combined. Last but not least, negative 3 wants to get multiplied by the two terms inside the parentheses. So negative 3 times positive 3 is negative 9. And negative 3 times positive 4I is a negative 12I. So I can write plus negative 12I. Or I can write negative 9 subtract 12I. It means the same thing. And we are finished.